Hey, what's up everyone? How you doing today? My name is Tim Penner and welcome to another edition of Tim's Toolbox. And today I want to talk to you about something that I think a lot of people really struggle with out there. I know I've struggled with a lot of different aspects of this over the length of my music career. And now I want to start off just by saying something, a little bit of a disclaimer here that I don't claim to be a success in this industry yet. I don't claim to know everything about the industry, but what I have to offer is a lot of time and a lot of experience that has helped me along the way. So I just wanted to say that right off the bat, this may not be for everybody, but I'm going to forewarn you that I may burst a few bubbles today, and some of you may like what I say, others maybe not so much. So essentially, as an artist, we are in one of the hardest industries in the world. And it can be really hard to make it, straight up. And we've been lied to, and we've been fooled over the years. From the years that we first discovered electronic music, or any industry that you may be in, we have been taught to believe that anyone can be discovered and that anyone can just be a success. The music industry in particular, they want you to believe that if you have some talent that you will be discovered and poof, all of a sudden you're a multi-million-dollar success. The EDM world is no different. They dazzle with lights, they dazzle with stages, they dazzle with explosions. And they bring you people like, Martin Garrix and Avicii that came into the scene at 17, 18 years old. And I'm not going to say that they're not talented, but poof, they just appeared. How did they do that? Is that what you can do? Maybe. I'm not going to say that you are not capable of being an overnight success. But for 99.9% of the population that strive to be in this industry, that's not the way that it's going to happen. So what does that mean for you? And I'm going to make this really simple. For those of you that have felt to be in a rut, or have felt that you're stuck, or felt that you're being overlooked, you're not doing enough. You are not working hard enough. Because at the end of the day, what this industry is really about is a long-term play to your success. Like I said, every once in a while you may have a diamond in the rough that just gets discovered overnight. That happens. Absolutely. And that may be you. But for most people, life gets in the way. Now, I talk to a lot of people, and they have a lot of passion in their hearts. And they have a lot of passion running through their hands and through their heads. And they want it really bad. Oh, they want the success and they want to work hard. But when it gets hard, they find other things to do. They find other things that make them satisfied inside. Because the music industry, much like many industries out there, is really, really hard to break into. And this is something that I learned a few years ago. I learned that there's more to making good music and getting discovered. Guess what? There's a reason that they call it an industry. This is a business. This is a machine that has been developed over decades. And now you want to come in and you want to be a part of it. That's great. It's amazing. So let me tell you a little story. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Because I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I had certain preconceived notions about what it meant to be a success in the industry. And it was hard. And for many, many, many years I tried, and looking back, I didn't know anything. I really did not know anything. And I wondered why it wasn't happening for me. Why? Why can't I get those gigs? Why can't I get those signings? Why? Well, it must be me if I'm not being discovered. If I haven't made it by now, I'm never going to make it. And guess what I did? I actually retired. I stopped making music. I retired my old alias. I said, this isn't for me. I got a corporate job. I got married. I got a nice house. I fell into that life. I put it on the shelf, music, but clearly I'm not talented. And I gave it up. For 1 year. And deep inside my heart, it grew. And I realized I was an idiot. I have stuff in here. I have knowledge. I have things inside that need to get out. If not to be a success in the industry, at least for myself, I needed to get it out. And when I came back with a completely different perspective on the industry. I retired my old alias, and I was reborn, so to speak, as Tim Penner. And that was about 5 years ago. And I decided to give my life to this. And when I did that, I thought I knew what I was doing. At least I was taking steps in the right direction at that time. Because I knew what I wanted. And I started to make steps there. When I look back on myself 5 years ago, I want to smack myself because I really thought I knew stuff. And that's the trick with knowing. You only think you know until you actually know. So right now, as I'm talking to you guys, I think I know stuff. And 2 years and 5 years down the road, I'm going to watch this video and I'm going to go, you idiot, you didn't really know the whole story. And for many of you guys, you don't know the whole story. And so when you come to that point where you go, well, it's not happening for me, it must be me, that's not entirely true. So what I want to do today is give you a little bit more insight that I've learned. And like I said, I will learn and I will grow going forwards, and this will change in my head. But at least for now, this is what's helped me. Okay, so when I realized that it was a business and that it was an industry, and my music was not going to cut it on its own, everything started to change. Now, growing up as an artist, I just wanted to be appreciated for my music. I wanted people to listen to my music and like me, and that's how I was going to make it. That's a lovely thought. It's really nice to be appreciated just for your music. But unfortunately, for that perspective, there are a million people like that. Some are good, some are bad, some are mediocre, some will get discovered, some will give up. It's a nice thought to be discovered on your music alone. But I wouldn't leave my future and my career up to that hope. You need to do more. Now, I understand right now, some people are getting frustrated, and some people, they're starting to get angry at this thought. Because you have a full-time job. You work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You have a significant other that takes up time. You have family. You have other personal issues. I get that. You have hurdles in your life that you need to get over. I understand that completely. I have gotten over so many hurdles, and I am in the middle of so many hurdles, and I will have so many hurdles in the future. Guess what? You're not alone. The difference between you and the person that succeeds is how determined you are to get over those hurdles and follow your passion and follow your dream. If music is it, if you would give your life for music, those hurdles become little bumps very quickly. Now, I know you're tired after a 50-hour work week and you want to just sit at home and you want to watch Game of Thrones. I get it. That's totally cool. But while you're doing that, just remember that there's somebody in your shoes somewhere else that's not watching Game of Thrones, and they're perfecting their craft. Now, my perspective on the industry when everything started to change, and this may change down the road, but this is how I see it right now. The industry is essentially a big pyramid, and it's broken up into 3 phases, maybe 4. Now, the bottom phase is made up of all of those wannabe artists that have been to a festival. They've gone out to clubs, they've heard electronic music or any kind of music on the radio, and they're like, wow, I really want to do that. I've got ideas in my head. I want to get those ideas out. And so they download some software and they want to learn. Or they go and buy some hardware and they want to learn. There is a massive pool of people in this bottom tier. Millions of people floating and bouncing in this bottom tier. And none of them know anything. So while you're battling on this bottom tier, bouncing, trying to learn whatever you can, YouTube videos, Facebook, trying to meet people, all they're doing is trying to self-actualize, or they're starting to gain a perspective on what they actually want. Well, this is the life for me. Awesome. Those people that start to discover that, they start to float to the top of this bottom pyramid until eventually they hit the ceiling of the bottom phase. And now they start to see things a little differently. As you cross over into this second phase, you start to identify that that was actually not what you thought it was, and there's more to it than just downloading Ableton and a few audio plugins and making music. You realize that there's more to it than pushing a few buttons. And you start to see that there is actually a business behind it. You don't understand the business, but you understand now you got to get signed. You maybe want to start networking. And so here you go into the second phase. And you start to identify with people immediately that are in this second phase. And it's a different family and it's a different community, because these people in the second phase, there's fewer. And now you understand that you're not bubbling against millions of wannabes. Now these people, they kind of get it. These are the people that you want to start to work with. This is probably the hardest one to get through, even though you're not necessarily battling against anybody. And there's less people in this one. This is one of the hardest ones because there's more to learn in the second phase than in any other section. Because it's in this phase, which is where most people fail in realizing the business and the industry, and that you can't just make music to be a success. You need to start doing more. And unfortunately, in this day and age, the industry has changed so much that you can't just be an artist. You need to do marketing, you have to understand branding, you have to understand networking and business, and that's all on top of knowing how to make music. Now, when I first entered this phase, I saw people in the industry that I looked up to. They were mentors in my own mind. I really want to be like this person. And I set out my target, like what we talked about in the last video. I set out a target. I want to be a part of that. I want to be close to that person. And that helped me identify targets, and I started to bubble through the second phase. And the most interesting thing that I realized, because in the last 5 years, I have worked harder at this than I ever have at anything in my life. And I dedicated my life, and I sacrificed, and I've developed a support system. And since I've done this, these people that I started to look up to, they started falling by the wayside. I started passing them, so to speak. I didn't look up to them as much, because what I saw is that even in this stage, people get jaded and they get angry. And what kills those people, which is the number one thing that will kill you, is when you get stuck at a plateau, when you stop moving up. It's so easy to find a reason why you can't or why you didn't. It's so easy to find an excuse why you got stopped here. I hear from people talking about, their jobs, their significant others, but also, this person did this, or the country that I live in, it's so hard here. There's no industry here. I can't go out. There's nothing here to do. Blah, 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 blah. It's so easy. And I mean, there are genuine circumstances that this is true, but most of the time, when I talk to these people, they have excuses and they have reasons. It means nothing, because everybody has hurdles. Everybody has something that they have to overcome. The ones that want it the most will find a way to get over that hurdle. And here's another important thing, is that the only person that really cares about your excuses is the future you. When you look back at yourself as future you, the only person that has to answer for those excuses is you right now. Why? Why didn't you put that extra effort in? This is coming from future you, of course. We could have done it, man. We could have done it if you just hadn't gone out drinking with your friends. We could have done it, man, if you just hadn't put your time and effort into this. What were you thinking? We could have done this, man. It's the worst resentment in the world when you look back and you go, man, I could have really done that. But you didn't. That's who you have to answer to. Because there's a lot of talk from people bubbling, first phase, second phase, a lot of talk. You can see it on Facebook. Facebook is poison, because getting likes feels good, right? Getting likes feels real good. And so people talk a lot. This is what I'm going to do. Chatting with somebody even. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. All these big plans, big ideas. I've got so many ideas in my head. I just want to get them out. But I'm stuck. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your ideas. What really matters is what you do. You compare two people, somebody that talks about something and somebody that shows you something tangible. Who has more credibility? And this right here is the difference between people that will succeed and those that will fall off the mountain, slide down the pyramid. It's those people that continue to show results over and over and over again, that continue to climb. The ones that get over the hurdles, the ones that battle the struggles time and time again, because they are so driven to impress the future you. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I truly believe more than anything. It sucks to struggle. Nobody likes to struggle, and nobody likes to be frustrated. And we work hard, and you don't get appreciated all the time, and the rewards are few and far between, but you struggle. And it's an internal struggle more than anything else. But when I look back on myself and I look back at all the other people that are trying to make it, what I know for sure right now is that it's the struggle that makes the success. You can't have a satisfying success without an unsatisfying struggle. That's when you can look back and say, you've earned it. You've paid your dues. You've got my respect because you struggled and you fought. You overcame those hurdles. That's where respect from veterans comes from. It's very easy to talk, something else to show, and pay your dues over time. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and it's a long road. It's a hard road, and you will find bumps, and you will find pitfalls, and you will slip and you will climb. But only the strongest will succeed. Which one are you? That's the question that I want to leave you with. When things get tough, when you get tired, when you've struggled more than you've ever had to struggle with before, what side do you fall on? I know this was kind of a tough one, but I hope some of the things that I said today will stick. When you're in those times when you want to give up and you feel like life is unfair and the industry is unfair, it is. How strong are you? Take what you want and don't let anything get in your way. I promise you, once you start getting over those hurdles, the rewards start to pay off, and it's more fruitful than anything you will ever do in your life. Don't give up. Don't retire like an idiot. Don't stop. Keep going. You can do this, but the strongest will survive. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you again next time. See ya.